Welcome back, everybody. JX here. I finished my agility team finally, and I wanted to give them a test drive. I want to see how good extreme agility maybe can and slash cannot be. So we're gonna take him through Boss Rush 3 and just see how far he can take me, because I just want to see. There doesn't have to be a reason. I can do what I want. All right. We're going to see if Super 17 and his team of endless androids can truly, I don't know, just compete with the best. Be the best like the rest. Alright. So if you're not really familiar with how Super 17's supposed to work, is he gains, like, if you've ever saw GT, when he gets attacked, he gains damage. So the more he's attacked, the higher his damage amplifier goes. And I believe currently it goes by 30, 60, 90, up to 120%, and caps at 120%. And they changed the game. They changed the way the game works a bit to where this works in your favor and will no longer go away during the current fight. So we have two 17s. We got androids galore. We're gonna just make the magic happen. All right. I'll do a little quick rundown too. This cooler I have on my team is in fact the World Tournament cooler, and you could only get him during. Oh man, this was like almost a year ago, I guess. Maybe like 9 months ago. Maybe years being a little gracious, but it was a long time ago. And what he does as a passive is all your agility members on your team, I think, gain 30% attack and defense. It's just like, I believe 30% all around the stats to all your agility members. And since he's a villain and agility and it's through his passive, it's like beautiful. Alright, so far, I mean, this, obviously, round 1 Goku here isn't going to do anything, but so far I'm liking this. He's only done about 2k damage through 2 rounds of turns, and I guess I should have been paying attention to which Super 17 we had up the bat here. But I'm going to just keep having him block so he can ramp up his power. Also, my LR androids are SA-20, and I just really want to see what kind of freaking firepower they can bring in here with 17. It's going to be confusing a lot hearing me say 17 because there are technically 4 members on my team right now that are Android 17. There's 2 Super 17s, the combination of Android 17 and 18, and the new Android 17 that Dokans. Alright. At least we got out of the weakness phase. Like, tech was barely touching us. I'm liking this so far, but this is Super 3, so we got a while to go. Alright. I believe it also refers to supers as well in his damage reduction, so that was good. That only hit us for a 20,000. Yeah, it looks like he is getting stronger. That was 762,000 that time. Keep ramping it up, baby. Both the Android 17s in my team, Super 17s, are both SA-10 as well. Wow. Man, Rose, that was beautiful. Boo's on, like, I could actually make a better team than this, but Boo is here to kind of help me ramp up my HP, because, I mean, when you're going through 10 consecutive fights, defense only goes so far if you can never heal. And since extreme agility isn't really based on, like, okay, like, let's use super strength for an example. Like, I could probably get away with using super strength because just from the absurd amount of damage I could do from the outset, I could just start ending these fights left and right like it's nothing. Can't quite do that with extreme agility because this is a ramp-up team. Which is also good for things like Boss Rush 3 because I thought maybe they'll be incredible. Man, I'm loving this damage output though so far. This is great. Alright. I know I didn't do it for Goku here, but in the next fight I'm going to try to keep better track of Super 17, where he's at in terms of ampage. The other one who probably won't do too much damage is that 17 that just attacked. I use SA base 1. Like, I'm considering what you can do is the other 17 that wears a trench coat that's an SR, he has a small percentage chance of raising an SA up. So if you pre-Dokan the 17 that I have and use it, you may have, because you can't Dokan him into Super 17. And because of that, the 17, like, it's already confusing me trying to explain this because you keep hearing the word 17. But the SR one that you can pull you can awaken him to SSR, and you'll have probably up to a 50% chance, maybe a little bit less, maybe like 25, because if you Dokan the SR one that I'm mentioning into Super 17, you would no longer have the ability to Dokan up or SA up the 17 that I'm using, because as obviously Android 17 and Super 17 are two different cards. We'll have to find some better terminology for them because it's already confusing. But the original point is the 17 on the far right now with his trench coat on. I think when I was talking with Zenrat, we refer to him as Park Ranger 17, which seems fair. He won't hit that hard. He's just kind of here as a buffer for Super 17. Wow. You gotta love that. Like, one thing the LRs are great for is because of their absurd base stats. You saw right there, this Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, 2 basic attacks, hit them each for like 6k, 8k. That was beautiful, man. Those base stats in them, like their defense is absurdly high. Now, even though the 17 in question that just attacked doesn't have that much, like, stopping power, he does reduce defense greatly. And any card that does that is basically your best friend. Alright. I don't think even if Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken ults, it's going to do anything. But we'll get us out of this phase, hopefully. I don't want to use items on the first guy. Yeah, 56. Alright. And by all purpose means, at this point, Super 17 should be hitting for... There's 1,000,000 damage just on a base ult. Yeah, he's done. So that ramp up works. Whew. Alright, Freezy Pop. You know, you see, the team before this, we were at 40k. Having Kid Buu on here is kind of a nice thing. So if you're thinking of making your own Extreme Agility team, and you're thinking about in terms of survivability, notice that I just gained back almost 50,000 life because it's percentage based on the health you gain back. So when our HP pool is 260,000, you gain quite a bit of health back. Alright, I think the best way... Let's see if we can kill Sarbe. If that's his name. I mix up Red Alien and the Visor dude all the time. Oh, he's still got an attack off. Oh, that's alright though. Frieza's base form barely hit a 230k. At least he tried. Now, this is one thing I'm curious about. Alright. So obviously, when a fight resets completely, so if you go to the next fight, you don't maintain the advantage, which makes sense. There's a small hope inside that that 1,000,000 damage we were doing would just now maintain the rest of the entirety of Super 3, but that was a fool's errand and a dream. Alrighty. Let's get us moved out of here. Oh, we're going to be Dokaning. Nice. We'll probably clear out the whole field. One little known fact about Dokaning, too, is now Super 17 obviously only hits for solo damage, but since we're about to use Dokan mode, if we do it properly, this should now hit for AoE and kill everybody on the field. So even a singular AoE will now hit for, or a single ult will now hit for AoE damage. Alright, now we're in the, yeah, poor strength Frieza. No chance. Okay, now we're going to test, now that Cooler's on the field, there's two things I want to do with this. First we'll have Super, he might kill him in one go, but want to see how much the advantage of just a passive 30% from Cooler is going to give Super 17. I think he was only hit like once or twice, so he's probably at 60%. It's about 454,000. Now the androids at SA-20. Looks like their base damage going into this was going to be about 740,000 already. And they hit for 1.2 million. Well, Frieza felt that. I felt that. Damn. Alright. Full power Frieza's turn. One thing I do have to probably avoid doing a bit is having Kid Buu tank damage. Well, he's good for, you know, getting your HP back here and there. He's not good at tanking. Big bad bosses. Man, this damage output between all these guys though is incredible. I'm loving this. Like, Rose was strong before, now Rose is like, well, I don't have to have my limiter of me being the lead now, so it went from 50% lead to 120% extra damage. If only I could use Merge Namaste with them, good lord. Deuces, my good friend. Alright. Now we'll test this against a type disadvantage fight. We're going to have Super 17 take those all tier 2 hits. And we'll have the LR androids take the first two. I'm not going to try to block anything. Like, just on their own merits with the people they have on the current turn. We need to gauge just how decent their survivability is against, like, a tough enemy that they would have disadvantage on. Alright, Frieza, let's see what you got. 300,000. 2K. 2K. Oh, they're trying, man. You gotta love it. One of those things is when your defense is so high, even you having type disadvantage, it's just your defense is too damn high, so they can barely touch you. Now here's an ult. This typically goes over defenses. Let's see what this hits for. This is going to be reduced by 40% naturally because of his passive, and even then it only hit us for about a 40k. Not bad at all. Now this is where some damage may be amplified on us. Let's see here. I think even with the wrong people taking the ults, we should be okay. I say that now, but this is really the only danger we're in at the moment. Cooler especially. Thankfully he didn't really take anything too bad. Beautiful. 450. His defense is reduced from Park Ranger 17. I'll just refer to him as that now. Less confusing. 17 will hit, but he hasn't been hit yet, sadly. 418,000. Double hits. 36. 11. Wow. Man. This team is a lot stronger than I was giving it credit for. This is kind of ridiculous. It's like almost a beautiful little balance of, like, defense and offense. I mean, you can get through these much faster, obviously, with something like strength and physical, but survivability-wise, this is just fun. Like, Frieza should be destroying a team like this. Bye-bye. There's one final phase in this fight, but pff, it doesn't matter. It's like this, like, quick, oh, kill Frieza before he blows up the planet thing. Yeah, depending on just how much extra damage Park Ranger at 10 versus 1 is going to be, maybe I will raise his special attack up. I'm watching that, like, all this damage output's great. And just having him, like, he's there to reduce the defense, sure, but having just all that extra damage, god damn, 800,000. Alrighty. Alright. It's time to go back to the past and fight Samurai Black. Wow. Poor fella has one of the worst first turns he could hope for. Yikes. Alright, we see our androids there are capped at max Kai and getting crazy buffs from both the Super 17s. $644,000, no defense reductions. Watch their little combo attack go off. 219,000. $96,000. That's a great example though, right there. Like, that's an SA. Like, okay, type disadvantage, sure, but like you notice, Super 17 like did no damage without anyone actually hitting him first. You know, it's the point of the character, but it goes to show just how much more damage he does after a ramp up. Like, wow, that's very off-putting at first, but done right, that's incredible. Yikes, I don't like this setup at all. Now we're at full health though. Even if like all three of them ulted, I don't think there'd be much chance of us dying. Okay, he's not even hitting that hard to begin with. This is such an interesting team. Like, they need to make more stuff like this. It's just fun to see and test. It's like, wow, like there's so many opinions on like if he's a bad card, if he's a good card. But thankfully I have the resources available to me just to make a team that could just do this shit. It's insane. You know, funnily enough, like base black tech here, or base tech black is doing so much better than Golden Frieza did. Alright, we got out of that version. Now we'll fight the physical black. The thing though is Super 17's been getting his ramp. Alright. There comes an ult. Super 17, 40% block, 28k. Nice try, bud. Alright, let's see what we're going to be moving up here. And 917,000. Wow. Quite a stark difference from 4 turns ago when he hit 95k. Now he hit 50,000 less than a million. Alright. Now let's see what our other 17's cooking in the books here. He's linked with the LR Android, so he should be looking for almost complete linkage. When I look at these cards, I consider them like a buddy system now. There's so many cards that like complement another one so greatly. Like Cooler and his buddy Full Power Frieza are like perfect links across the freaking board. Things like Rose and Merge Zamasu are just so beautiful together. Unfortunately, because of their different types and how monos are now overtaking like types again, until like a mono extreme, mono physical comes that overshadows Vegeta Blue and Rose, we're kind of switching back to color types being the best again. So unfortunately, I can't really run like Merge Zamasu and Rose quite as much anymore. Alright. This is the friend Super 17, but he's also, I made sure these were both SA10. Hit the ult, 40k. 833,000 starting. Alright. Show me some magic. 467,000. He's also in his last form though, so he probably has a lot more reduction. Rose himself hit about 450,000. Not bad, bud. We want him to take the hit first. Alright, so we'll switch these two around. Oh, we got Dokan. Awesome. That should also take care of... Dokan mode naturally increases like your multipliers by extreme amounts, so if this may kill him, thinking if this does this right, but it has to go past his basic damage like reduction. which it didn't, so it hit about 500,000. Still good though. Alright, will this kill him? And clocked. There goes black. Alrighty. Taking names so far. Oh, that's amazing. Having all 5 Cell Juniors attack on the first turn. Alright, 17. Now is his chance to really shine. I've been very curious what would happen if you get a turn like this where you have everyone hitting you in the very first turn. 92, 12, so even if they ult nothing, but that was 30, 60, 90, 120%, so he should be capped already, so first Cell Junior should be toast. Goodbye, little friend. 706,000. Nighty night. Also, the reason you're seeing Rose do such like incredible numbers and damage here is my Rose is almost capped in the dupe system. I think he's about 70%, so while my Super 17, I haven't even started him yet because I have too many agility characters to run through there. But if you're running a similar team to mine and you're expecting Super 17 to do, or Rose to do quite as much as you're seeing mine do, don't get your hopes up too high. It takes quite a bit of maintenance onto the dupe tree to make him really kind of shine like this. If Bandai Japan ever like makes it so we can ever get orbs again at a somewhat human rate rather than this extremely slow like basic farm grinder rate, it's bad how slowly you get orbs to raise people in this game, and there just isn't enough to go around for everybody. So one day if like, I don't know, like when Super Saiyan 4s came out and they were like, hey man, everybody check your mail, it's like here's a ton of like strength and agility orbs and then physical orbs later, and then they just left out tech and wisdom for whatever reason completely. But if they ever do that, then maybe I can get Super 17 up there too. Because like if he's doing this kind of damage with no help from the dupe system at all, it's like crazy to think like if he's where my Rose is, I'd be hitting like 2 point something mil easily. We basically just healed ourselves back to full with Boo alone because the Cell Juniors just could not do anything. Those poor guys. Man, choosing to attack 5 times in the first turn. Normally, I would hate that. That's like the worst RNG you can get. But that alone happening right there was the best in terms of having Super 17. That was... I couldn't have asked for better. Right here, I probably did a little misplay. If I put the other 17 first, he could have had his defense greatly down, but I don't really care that much. That's also nice too with the LR androids and these two. If they're next to each other, it's at pretty much a guaranteed ult every time. I guess the only real lackluster thing I've been noticing the team is since Cooler's here as more of a supporter than a buffer, like getting him the ult is the only difficulty I seem to be having. Like I've been getting lucky with orbs, I can get enough of them, but it looks like he needs like 6 or 7 each time, and that really isn't always readily available to you. And also, yeah, of course his damage is pitiful. And now he's going to get ulted in the face and loses a bunch of health. 79,000, thank you. What a friend. I've been thinking a lot about what actual, like, team leads are coming that are gonna, like, I mean, we have, alright, so, like, what I'm saying is, like, we have so many cards right now that, like, basically break the game in so many ways, like, kind of like what you're seeing right now. It's just, like, I don't really know what they can build in the future to, like, try to top this stuff. It's just insane. Like, I almost guarantee there's going to be, like, a Boss Rush 4 in the future, and it's going to be, like, all the new leads or something. But, man, if you're, like, trying to be a new player catching up to this, I feel for you. This is just... this is insanity. Also, the way they set it up, too, is they're very obviously going to have... Okay, so we had the 5 mono gods before this, but we're going to have 10 this time, if not more, because they're having one for every typing. So, like, extreme and super, rather than just all around. Man, Texel really does not want to die. Come on, friend, let's move on. There you go, buddy. Alright, so it looks like the links that Cooler is getting come from Rose and Kid Buu. I was curious, it looked like Super 17 and the LR androids weren't really giving him too much in terms of that. I'm going to save those for the droids. Oh yeah, back on like with the leads too, man. Trying to keep my head focused on this is crazy. Wow, that was like 1.3. Jesus, Rose. Okay, man. For you global players, when Rose and like VB are just coming out, if this isn't apparent about who you should be popping those orbs into, let this be yeah, just do it, man. Wow, just damn. But for the 4th time, getting on back topic with like the new leads coming, it's just hard to tell what leads are going to be what. Like, I guess like what characters are going to be, because they're just throwing in random things like left and right. It's like, oh, Cooler's the physical extreme lead, and then Super 17 is now the agility extreme lead. But like if you're going by like power scale ratings and things like that, Omega obviously was the more vicious of the villains in GT than Super 17. But it's just like Bandai's picking the characters they haven't done yet, and so expect to see something like Lord Slug be the extreme ent, and I almost would bet money that's going to be the case. So, in terms of what characters they pick, it's just like a wild card at this point. Like, it could be anything. They're like characters you've never even, like, SR Kui or something, like the old joke character everybody was always get. Like, so watch him get, like, the next ridiculous card. In terms of difficulty as well, I think the next thing coming is they're going to make bosses immune to super sealing. They made them immune to stuns, but I feel like the big one coming probably would be immune to super sealing, and then like the hardest they could... Well, actually, I think the hardest it could be would be immune to super sealing and stunning, because then you legitimately have to rely on tanking and stuff. There's no cheesing that anymore. Man, poor Vegeta. Goes to show how much I care about him. Like, I did never even occurred to me that I'm on his fight already and like into his 2nd phase, moving on to his like 3rd to last phase already. Cause he just, this was such a filler fight. It just leaves nothing to memory. It's like, all right, just go through him. Like this turn, that's a good example, but I don't want to use Park Ranger 17 to block, because yeah, that could have been dangerous. Since Super 17 acts as like, just think of him as like Vegito Blue in terms of tanking. He's got 40%, so 10% higher than Vegito Blue's damage reduction, but I mean, it's not like Super Vegeta's 80% or Golden Frieza's like 80+%, but everybody always has their like little niches to it. Like, Super Vegeta can still get ulted for max damage. Super 17 here will take 40% reduction on supers and normal attacks, so everyone's got that little thing that makes them a little better than the other buddy. My hope here is Super 17's ramped up now enough to where we can just get out of these tech phases. Alright, boom. I lied! Not yet. That's 2 times now. This happened with Stella too. It looked like he was dead, but he was at like 3 health, so they got one last little hurrah attack in. Alright, get out of here. You dead. This will be the fastest one easily, because he went from type... Oh yeah, we also have a Dokan going in. Yeah, he'll die. I would put money on this turn. If I was a gambling man, he would be done. Actually, I mean, by playing this game, I guess that technically makes me a gambling man. Frick. Except instead of winning real-life money, I win these cards that become irrelevant 3 weeks later. Alright, Psycho 17, Sister 17. See what you can do with the Dokan. This guy's done this turn, almost guaranteed. 2.1 million, yep. Bye-bye. Oh, we full healed too. Alright, we got Cooler on the turn. One of these 17... oh yeah, he's ramped up easily now. That's 3 hits. So 800,000 going into the base attack. Alright. Apologies in advance to you for not commenting too much on this. I'm taking notes as I do this. One of the things I actually have to do with this as well is use a very similar team for Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta in comparison. So a Super Agility, a Super Agility team versus a Super Agility Extreme team. From what I've seen so far, it feels like, just because I feel like Vegeta could end the fights a tad bit faster, he might overtake, but that's not 100%, and that's just me speculating out loud. Because just seeing like things like Rose and how much damage he can do alone, and like the LR androids and how much damage they can do alone. Because in terms of like a Super Agility team, there aren't many people who can just keep just outputting that kind of damage. You just have to rely on mostly Vegeta. I mean, Super Vegeto's nice, he'll have a great blocker and a counterer, but I mean, the LR androids with Super 17 on the team and Rose are just outputting just absurd damage. Speaking of Super Vegeta, I haven't done this fight in so long I forgot this was a thing. I don't even think this Goku is actually a card in the game still yet. I'd have to go check on the strengths, but I don't think he is still. The Vegeta obviously is, because he's the one from Kid Buu, but... yeah, it doesn't matter if Cooler ults or not. Like, as we've seen, he doesn't do any damage regardless. It's just making sure the people who need the old ult is all that matters. Okay. There we go, that's a better setup for us. One thing I've been trying to kind of teach myself is how to give Kai to the LR androids better. Because since they have 2 Kai bars, it's something I just kind of forget about. So whenever I pull them on the team, like, if you've been noticing and watching their ults, they do different ones depending on how much Kai they have in. Like if I had pushed it like 1 or 2, I keep calling it Kai. Key. I know someone's gonna get mad about that. If I pushed it 1 or 2 key bars further, it would have done their ultimate. The LR cards are the only ones that do that. Alright, we're on Super Vajiji. But unfortunately for the All-Star card, the one that shattered the game after the Gogeta, his time to shine has also been strange. Oh, I forgot what the mechanic is, but it looks like Kid Buu and Super 17 have the orange aura. I wonder if it's big bad bosses or something. It's got to be something along those lines. Because I don't know why they would suddenly have the extra advantage on Super Vegito of all things. Alright, Super 17, surprise us all. You could do better. Actually, no, like I said before, I want him to have his defense lowered. And like I was talking about with the Kai earlier, if I do this right, get the blues down. Now, there we go, yep. You don't know if you got the special ult or not, because where it's saying, like in the Japanese lettering down there, that they're going to super, it'll have that big pulsating red thing. You can see it right now, right in front of it, meaning they're doing like their quote, super. Wow. Well, doesn't even matter. Lower defense, and then, oops, hit you for 1,000,000. Dead.